some examples today. So we did some examples about level of service on Thursday, and on that day we could not complete all the examples. There were 2 left. So let us do them. Okay. So the first example is about the application of growth rate. Now the growth rate is applied when you are calculating something for future using the present conditions. Okay, so you say, okay, the volume right now is this much. What will be the volume after 5 years? Or the let's say the population of Bahrain is this much. What will be the population of Bahrain after, let's say, 5 years, 10 years, or something? So you apply the growth rate to find out what will happen in the future. So let us see how to apply it for traffic volume and what will it do to the level of service analysis. So we have 6-lane urban freeway. Measured free flow speed is 65 miles per hour. So we have got rid of one set of calculations, which was to calculate the free flow speed. Free flow speed is measured, same as your projects, right? And it's a rolling terrain. Traffic consists of 10% trucks. Okay, and they are saying it's a standard mix. So in 10% trucks, there is 70% single unit trucks and 30% trailer trucks. This is a standard mix. Okay, but since it is rolling terrain, it doesn't matter. Okay, although they have written it in the question, but since it is rolling terrain, doesn't matter because we don't have tables for different mixes for rolling terrain. Okay, rolling terrain only has one table to find out the equivalency factor for trucks, and that is the only one which you will use. Other standard conditions apply, so no adjustment factors are required, and this is what we have been looking at since the last all the last examples. So there was one example in which we calculated the adjustment factor for work zone, and all the remaining examples we haven't dealt with the adjustment factors yet. Okay, we will do it in the next one. Peak hour factor is given, current volume is given in one direction. Current volume is 3600 vehicles per hour in one direction. And now because volume, we have been using volume in one direction, right? Level of service, capacity, everything is calculated for one direction. This volume is expected to grow at 6% per year for the next 20 years. Now keep in mind, this is 6% per year for the next 20 years, not 6% for the next 20 years. Okay, not 6% for the next 20 years. Okay, so from year 0 to year 20, it will increase each year 6%. So next year it will be 6% more. The next year it will be even 6% more, and so on. Okay, so each year it is increasing 6%. It doesn't mean that you take all the 20 years and just increase 6% for the last year. No, every year is increasing 6%. Okay, and this growth rate is assumed to be continuing till the next 20 years. What is the current level of service for the facility? Which is very simple. We have done it in the first 2 examples on Thursday as well. Find out the current level of service. But the additional part is, what is the level of service in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years? What is the level of service on this facility in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years? This is something new. Okay, and this is where you will apply the growth rate. So they are saying find out the level of service in five different times. Okay, the first one is the current time, and then after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. What will change in these times? The volume will change. Now remember, only the volume is growing, nothing else is growing. Okay, only the volume is growing at 6% per year. So the remaining calculations will remain the same, but the volume will change. Now what you can do is, I will tell you the conventional approach which we have done previously. Okay, and then I will show you another approach using the service volumes and service flow rates. So what we have done on Thursday, you can apply the same approach. Find out, we already have the volume right now. So you do one set of analysis for the current year, then find out how much will be the volume after 5 years. Apply the growth rate 6% per year find out how much will be the current the volume after 5 years, and then repeat the level of service analysis with that volume. Then do the same thing for 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. So for every year, find out how much volume you will have, okay, and then repeat the whole service of level of service analysis, okay, which we have been doing, okay, which we have done on the on the examples which we did on Thursday. But there's another method is which is to apply the service flow rates and service volumes. Okay, this method, the method which you will actually do, will apply service flow rates and service volumes. Now, how to do that? First of all, let me go to the equation. So I'm talking about this analysis. Okay, so in this analysis, we will find out service volume for each level of service. Service volume for each level of service. So for finding out service volume, I need service flow rate and peak hour factor. Peak hour factor is given. Service flow rate will be calculated using this equation. In this equation, you will have maximum service flow rate. You need N, which is number of lanes. So it's a 6-lane freeway, number of lanes 3. Again, one direction. And you need FHV, heavy vehicle adjustment factor. Okay, and we already know the equation. They give us rolling terrain, 10% trucks. I can find out FHV. Now the only thing is how to find out maximum service flow rate. Again, going back to the example which we did on Thursday. So how did we find out the maximum service flow rate for level of service C and D in that example? First of all, we found the equation first of all, we found free flow speed. Okay, and free flow speed in this example we had to calculate. In our example, it is given. Then we found the capacity and the breakpoint. Okay, so for the capacity and the breakpoint, these are the equations which are given. Okay, so this is the equation for capacity. This is the equation for breakpoint. And again, as I said, no adjustment factors are required. Okay, so just put the free flow speed which you have, find out capacity and breakpoint. Okay, then if then till the volume is up to the breakpoint. So let's say if the breakpoint is 1100. So from 0 to 1100, speed will be equal to free flow speed. So free flow speed is given as 65. So you plot this curve. So on the x-axis you have flow, on the y-axis you have speed. So from 0 till you reach the breakpoint. So if the breakpoint is 1100, so till 1100, your speed will remain the same, which is free flow speed. Okay, so you draw this part of the curve. Then for this part of the curve, you will use this equation. In this equation, you have free flow speed given capacity. You will calculate using this equation. Okay, and again, this equation you are using free flow speed. Okay, VP, you will try different values. Breakpoint, you already calculated. DC given here 45. Okay, A again for freeway, A is 2 fixed. Now, so you will try different values of VP after, which are above BP till capacity. Above BP till capacity. So if your BP was 1100, then you start from 1101 or something. Okay, I'm just giving an example. So if your BP is 1100, you start maybe from 1200, 1300, 1400 till you reach the capacity. Okay, so you will have different values of S at different values of VP. Okay, flow rates, and flow rate should range from above BP till capacity. Values up should be above BP till capacity. So you will put different values and calculate different values of S. Then you can plot this part of the curve. Okay, you can plot this part of the curve. Then how do you find out the maximum service flow rate? We have a table which contains densities, maximum densities for each level of service. So you take the density and you take the inverse. That will become the slope of the line which you want to plot at the curve to the curve. So for example, for level of service A, the line will be have a slope of inverse of 11. Inverse of 11. So 11, you take the inverse, whatever is the inverse value, you take it as the slope of the line, then draw the line from the origin like they have done it here. See, draw a line from the origin going to the curve. Okay, so you can see it is intersecting the curve here, so that will become the maximum service flow rate for level of service A. Okay, this point, the flow rate at this point. Okay, then similarly, the second value was 18. You take the inverse of 18, then this is the slope of that line. This line, the inverse of 18 is the slope of this line, and you draw this line from the origin till the curve. So wherever the line intersects the curve, you have your maximum service flow rate. Okay, so this is how you Same method which I explained in the example on Thursday as well. I've just reiterated it just to refresh your minds because you have been, you had a weekend. Now, these are the curves for some sample values. These are curves which are given in the book for some sample values. Sample values of free flow speeds. Okay, so if now you can see here my speed is 65, right? So 65 is already there. Okay, just give me a second. I'm enjoying the perks of online teaching. Okay, so my speed is 65, so the curve is already plotted. It's one of the sample values. Okay, I can use this curve, and for this curve all the values are given. Maximum flow rates are given for these curves. Okay, but if my speed was 63, then you had to go and plot your own curve. Okay, and find out your all maximum service flow rates. So that's why I already explained you the procedure, because in near future exams or something, just saying, you may have to do this yourself. Okay, so these curves will only be used if the free flow speed is one of the values which are already plotted here. Okay, don't use the curve for the nearest value or so on. Okay, so for these curves the values are already there, the lines are plotted, and we have the values for maximum service flow rates in these tables. So this is the table for maximum service flow rate for freeways for the sample curves. Okay, so you can see 65 is here. Okay, now in the question very intelligently they said 65 is a measured value, because when you calculate the value there are some decimal places, right? So they said, okay, fine, let us make it easy. 65 is the measured value, and that's it, full stop. Okay, so for 65, maximum service flow rate for A, B, C, D, and E are given. Okay, so A is 710, 1170, 1630, 2030, 2350. Okay, so these are the values if the free flow speed is 65, values for maximum service flow rates. Okay, now for these flow rates, the units are passenger cars per hour per day. Passenger cars per hour per day. Okay, now how to use these values? Now if your flow rate, if the flow rate of your highway, this is the maximum flow rate for A, for example, 710. If the flow rate for your highway is more than 710, that means your level of service cannot be A, right? Let's say it is 1000. The flow rate on your highway is 1000 passenger cars per hour per day. That means what? You have exceeded A, but you haven't exceeded B. So your level of service is B. Let's say your flow rate is 1500. That means you have exceeded B, but you have not exceeded C. So your level of service is C. Let's say your flow rate is 2000. So 2000 means what? You have exceeded C, but you haven't exceeded D. So your level of service is D. Okay, so you can still find out the level of service if you compare the flow rate of your highway with the maximum service flow rates. Okay, so whenever you exceed a value, that means that level of service is gone. You are no longer in that level of service. Then you see which is the next level of service in which you can be. Okay, and so on. The only problem with this approach is for comparison, the units must be same. The units given in the example or for volume, we know for volume, the units are vehicles per hour. But in the table and the equation, and even if you plot the curve yourself, the units will be passenger cars per hour per lane, because the equations are in passenger cars per hour per lane. Okay, so maximum flow rates will always be in passenger cars per hour per lane. Okay, that's why we need to convert them into service volume. We need to convert passenger cars per hour per lane into vehicles per hour so that I can do the comparison. Okay, the volume from the field vehicles per hour, and these flow rates are in passenger cars per hour per lane. So I cannot do the comparison until I convert these flow rates into service volumes. So service volume equals service flow rate into peak hour factor. Okay, peak hour factor is 0.92. Okay, service flow rate is maximum service flow rate, which you will get from the curve, and I have already showed you. It's given for the table. It's given in the table for the curve of 65. Okay, multiply by n, which is number of lanes, and multiply by FHV. Okay, so I can say that this volume equals this whole thing into peak hour factor, right? And peak hour factor is given. Okay, I know number of lanes, n is 3. Okay, and now I need to find out FHV. I need to find out FHV. So for FHV, equation is 1 divided by 1 plus percentage of heavy vehicles into 1, close the brackets. Okay, percentage of heavy vehicles trucks is given as 0.1, and EHV is for rolling terrain. For rolling terrain, let me show you in case you don't believe me. Rolling terrain, EHV is 3. Okay, for rolling terrain, EHV is 3. So 3. So first of all, give me the value of factor for heavy vehicle adjustment. .83. Okay, then service volume will be maximum service flow rate, because for each level of service it will be different. Okay, so I have to put different values. Multiply by it was n, which was 3, number of lanes 3. Multiply by heavy vehicle adjustment factor, which you calculated 0.83. Multiply by peak hour factor, which is given 0.9. Okay, so this is your base equation. This is your base equation. In this equation, you will put different values of maximum service flow rates, which are as follows. Okay, these values. Our curve is 65. Fuel speed is 65. So you put 710, calculate service volume, then 1170, calculate service volume, then 1630, then 2030, then 2350. Okay, so you will give me 5 service volumes, one for each level of service. So give me the service volumes. Okay, next. Okay, go ahead. Okay, this is for C. Okay, let me write down these values. It's not free flow speed of A. Okay, this is level of service. Okay, VP, basically service volume for A. Service volume for A. 26 passenger cars per, sorry, now it is vehicles per hour. Now it is vehicles per hour. And service volume for B, 26 kg. Service volume for C, 3734. Okay, next D. How much for D? Maximum service flow rate is 2030. 2030. $4650. Okay. Okay, last one. Yes, last value. 2330, 2330. MSF is 2330. Okay, 5337. Okay, so the work is now simple. Just whatever value you have, you compare with these values. If you have exceeded a value, that level of service is 1. Then you look for the next value which you haven't exceeded. Okay, so the present volume is 3600, 3600. The present volume is 3600. Now you see you have exceeded A, you've exceeded B, but you haven't exceeded C. For C it is 3734. Your value is below that. So present level of service is C. Right now the level of service is C. Now I want to find out level of service after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Okay. For that I must find out the volume for these years. Find out the volume for these years. For that I will use an equation which is known as growth rate equation or growth rate formula. Growth rate formula is F equals future value. F means future value equals present value. P is present value 1 plus R. So R is the growth rate. You see 6% per year is R to the power n. What is n? The number of years for which you want the value. For number of years for which you want the value. So F is future value. P is present value, which is 3600 vehicles per hour. R is rate per year, which is 6%. And N, you will try the values for which the level of service is required, 5, 10, 15, 20. So now give me the future volumes for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. Okay, present volume, at present volume, the level of service is C. Okay, keep it in mind. Okay. Okay, 10 years. 6447, okay. 15. 8627, okay. 20 years. 11545. Okay, so you have the values for 5, 10, 20, and 50. 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. Okay, for 5 years the value is 4818. So after 5 years the volume will reach 4818 compared with the service volumes now. Okay, so you have exceeded C, definitely. You have exceeded D as well. Exceeded D as well. So after 5 years your level of service will become E. See, you haven't exceeded E yet. You have exceeded D, so D is gone, but E is not exceeded, so your level of service is E. So in 5 years, your level of service will go from C to E. Okay, right now 3600. After 5 years, 4818. So right now, level of service is C. You are under this value, and after 5 years, your level of service will be E. You are under this value. Okay. Then after 10 years, the value becomes 6447. Okay, the value becomes 6447 after 10 years. Come here, we have exceeded E as well now. The level of service E is also exceeded. Now what was E? What did E represent? E represented capacity. So when you exceed capacity, what happens? You reach level of service F. F means traffic jam, congestion. Okay, and obviously we are talking about the peak hour. We are talking about the peak hour. So in the 10th year, the facility will face serious traffic congestion in the peak hour, and obviously in the remaining years, 15 years, 20 years, the volume is increasing, right? It's not decreasing. So once you have reached F, you will continue. Once you have reached F, you will continue in F. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. Once you have, just a note, side note, like I have to say sorry to you so many times because of my kids. You can imagine how many times your parents had to say sorry because of. Okay, so that's why we should, value them. Anyways, so in the 10th year, the level of service has reached F, and after in the 15 year and the 20 years, the volume keeps on increasing. So that means the level of service will remain F. It will not come back. Okay, the only way it can come back is you decrease the volume somehow, or you increase the capacity. Okay, so in the 10th year, it will remain. It will reach F, and it will remain F. Okay. Now, let's say I am a part of the administration who is looking over this highway, and I don't want the highway to reach level of service F. I don't want the highway to reach level of service F because this will mean traffic jam and congestion and so on. I want to avoid that. So that means before the highway reaches level of service F, I should do something about it. Before the highway reaches level of service F, I should do something about it. Now it reaches level of service F somewhere between the year 5 and 10, because in the year 5 the level of service was E, and the year 10 it became F. So between these 2 years it became F at some point. Okay, because you see in year 10 it is not exactly 5337, right? It becomes F when it reaches or goes beyond this value, right? So in which year exactly this value was achieved? 5337 was achieved exactly in which year? This is the year which is my deadline. This is the year which is my deadline. I want to do something, I should do it before that year. Okay, so in which year exactly did it achieve level of surface F? Okay, so let us calculate now the year in which level of service F is expected to happen. Okay, so the year in which the level of service F will happen, the value of volume will be 5337, right? When you exceed 5337, your value of level of service will become F. So my future value is 5337. Okay, present value obviously remains the same. Then 1 plus R. Now R is again 6%, and I'm trying to find out what the year. So I'm trying to find out N here. Okay, so find out how much is N. Now N, you can, if you want, if you know how to solve this equation in the calculator, go ahead. But otherwise you can do trial and error. It cannot be year 2. It cannot be year 2. It is between year 5 and 10. Remember, it is between year 5 and 10. Okay, it cannot be year 2. In the 5th year, the level of service was E. So you need to find a value which is between 5 and 10 when the future volume became 5337. So how much is that value? Yes, N. Yes, 6, but 6 point something. It is 6 point something, right? At least you know this much. It is not exactly 6, right? Whatever. Okay, 6 point something, right? Everybody agrees in this much. 6 point something, 6.7, 6, it doesn't matter. Okay, 6 point something. So this means what? In the 7th year, you will reach level of service F. In the 7th year, you will reach level of service F. 6.7 means 7th year. So you will reach level of service F. So you must do something, some improvement on the road to increase the capacity or do something else to avoid level of service F till the 6th year. 6th year is your deadline now. 6th year is your deadline. Once you have reached the 6th year, you didn't do anything. In the 7th year, you will see level of service F coming up. Okay. So I must do something in the 6th year. Now, what should I do? What should I do? I can increase the capacity of the road. Increasing the capacity of the road means what? Very obvious. Even the guy on the street will tell you, want to increase the capacity of the road, increase the number of lanes, right? You want to increase the capacity of the road, increase the number of lanes. Okay, but this can for how long this can work? Increasing number of lanes, for how long this can work? You are avoiding level of service F by, let's say you increase one more lane. So it's already a 6-lane highway, you will make it 8 lanes, right? You will make it 8 lanes. Okay, so you avoid level of service F in the 7th year, but it may come with a new capacity. So you see the volume is still increasing, right? The volume will not end at say the 7th year. In the 10th year it is more, in the 15th year it is more, in the 20th year it is more. So maybe you will, with a new lane, you will not achieve level of service F in the 7th year. Maybe you will achieve in the 12th year, or 13th year, the 14th year, or the 16th year. Okay, then you will increase one more lane. Okay, so if you don't do anything about the volume, then you will keep on requiring more lanes in the future. Okay, every time the volume increases, you will come near level of service F, then you will think about changing the number of lanes. And you know, you have a limited space. Okay, you cannot keep on increasing the number of lanes. Okay, growth rate equation, you just solved it. You didn't solve it. Growth rate equation is just F equals P. So I'm writing the basic equation now. Future value, present value, R is growth rate, N is number of years. Okay, you can write it somewhere. I think it's in the slides as well. Okay, so like I said previously as well, in your book, it's a very good thing that at the end of every question, they have given some very good points to us. Okay, so you see alternative solutions. Okay, the most obvious solution was increase the number of lanes, but that is not sustainable. You cannot keep on doing it. So you have to look for other solutions as well to make sure the volume doesn't increase, or it does not increase by the same rate. Okay, because if the volume keeps on increasing the number of lanes has to end somewhere. Okay, eventually you will reach a stage where you can no longer increase the number of lanes. Okay, then what are the other solutions to you? One solution is growth rate, control the growth rate by better zoning. Okay, zoning means the land use. Okay, control the land use in that area. So let's say this highway is going towards the commercial area. In that commercial area, new businesses are starting, and because of those new businesses, the growth rate is 6%. Traffic growth rate towards that area is 6%. So if you don't allow the businesses to concentrate on in that area, okay, obviously you cannot stop them. You cannot say, okay, you don't open a new office. No, you tell them, you distribute them better, okay, to other places. So instead of all the demand increasing towards that area, it will be distributed towards other areas. Okay, so this is what we mean by better zoning. So look at where this highway is going, what is the land use in that area, and maybe the land use is increasing a lot, and because of that the growth rate towards that area is higher. So instead of promoting growth or development in that area, you can distribute it to the other areas as well. Okay, so make sure you have other areas which can accommodate these activities which are happening in that area, so the growth rate or the traffic will be diverted towards or distributed towards that area, those areas as well. Secondly, public transportation. Okay, buses, trains, and so on. So have a good system of public transportation, so the people will leave their car and go towards them. Okay, again you will reduce volume and growth rate. Alternative facilities, alternative routes, alternative highways. Okay, this is about one highway. To go to the same place, are there other highways available, or if not available, you maybe construct other highways, or they are available, maybe they are not providing the same quality of service. You increase or you improve their flow as well, so the traffic from this highway will divert to the other highways. Okay, the last thing is adjustment of work hours. Adjustment of work hours, distribute the work hours. We call them staggered work hours. Staggered work hours. What are staggered work hours? Let me give the example from the education area. In the education area, the schools start and end at different times. The schools start and end at different times. Okay, some schools are starting at 8, some schools are starting at 7:30 and so on. Okay, why do we do that? So that people who are coming towards that area do not come at the same time. If every school was starting at 8 a.m., then obviously people, parents and staff and everybody for all their schools will come to the education area at the same time. Since they're starting at different times, so the traffic was distributed. Okay, you still had the traffic jam, but it could have been much worse if the schools were starting at the same time. Okay, same thing can be applied to the office areas as well. For example, you have diplomatic area, and diplomatic areas we have so many embassies and offices and so on. So you can tell them, okay, distribute your work hours. Okay, stagger your work hours. You all of you cannot start at 8 a.m. You have to start at different times. Okay. One very good example, which was a very I would call it a very ingenious example, is from a private contractor, private consultant actually in Karachi. What he did was he asked his employees, you have to fill out 8 hours in a day, 8 hours in a day. When do you want to start? When do you want to finish? It's up to you. My concern is you will need to spend 8 hours in the office. Okay, 8 hours in the office. So you start at 8 a.m. You will finish at 4. If you start at 9, you finish at 5, and so on. Okay. So what he did was he made sure that everybody was giving 8 hours. Okay, because if they are, if the hours are fixed, then oh, what happens if I'm late 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? He told them, you're coming at 9:15, just stay till 5:15. Now you cannot say no, 5 p.m. you will close the office. He's saying I will not close the office. So if you come late, you give extra time. Okay, and he doesn't have to pay for you. Okay, so this was an ingenious way. So he was doing staggered working hours even within the office for different employees. And one more thing which he did was he made sure his office was open from 7 till midnight. Believe me, 7 till midnight. Because people who are not married, they used to come at any time. I cannot sleep at night. Okay, I will go to the office early. I come early. Okay, I slept late in the night. I'll go late. Okay, and what that meant also was, if he needed someone in the office to do something at 11 a.m. at night, there was someone in the office. There was a design engineer in the office. Okay, and since he was in the office, he cannot say no. These are his working hours. Okay, so there was no, okay, client told me I need something urgently in the morning, and there's nobody to do the work for me. Everybody is sleeping in the at their homes. No, there's always somebody in the office. Okay, so this was a very ingenious example from a consultant. Okay, and they do that. This is called flexible working hours actually, not a staggered. Staggered is when you apply it area wise. Flexible is within the, like we have teachers have flexible working hours. University teachers have flexible working hours. Okay, our classes can be at 8 a.m. as well as 5 p.m. Okay, depends. So this is the last solution, is apply staggered working hours again, so that everybody is not using the highway in the same hour. Okay. Now let us look at the last example of this topic, which is for the application of capacity and speed adjustment factor. Now the examples which we have done up till now, we just calculated work zone adjustment factor in the first example. I think it was on Tuesday, and then the examples which we did today or on Thursday, we did not apply any adjustment factors. So now they are saying the first freeway example which we did, consider that that highway must be analyzed for operations during bad weather event. What is the bad weather event? That there is moderate rain. The bad weather event is there is moderate rain. Okay. Now this case may happen if you are designing or analyzing a highway which is in a tropical region. Designing or analyzing a highway in a tropical region where rainfall is more frequent. Where rainfall is more frequent. So you see, since rainfall is frequent, so you cannot say, if you go to Malaysia, for example, or Indonesia or Thailand or some other countries like that, they have rainfall, medium rainfall is nothing for them. 11 months of the year they have medium rainfall. Now, in that area, you cannot say, oh, no, this is not normal, I will design for no rainfall. No, they will say you are fired. Okay. So don't get fired because of this. Design it or analyze it using the weather conditions which are at hand. Okay, so moderate rainfall, medium rainfall, all other conditions are base, all the conditions are standard. Okay, let me go to the example. So they are saying apply the adjustment factor to this example. Now in this example, I've already calculated the free flow speed, which was 52.8 miles per hour, and this is unadjusted speed, so there is no adjustment factor right now. There is no adjustment factor right now to this value. Okay. I also calculated the capacity as well. And again, in the capacity equation, I am using unadjusted free flow speed. So capacity is 228. The adjustment factors will affect now. After you calculate the free flow speed and the capacity, now you will have the application of the adjustment factors. Okay, so for weather, the adjustment factors are given in these tables. Okay, this is the adjustment factor for capacity. Okay, we have medium rain. We don't need to worry about the value here because they already said in the question it's medium rain. Whatever the value is, it is medium rain. Now this is according to the speed. Now speed was our free flow speed calculated one is 52.8. Okay, if you come to this table, they are saying minimum free flow speed should be 55. Minimum free flow speed should be 55 for freeways. Okay, so I will just take the value of free flow speed of 55. Okay, because this is the minimum for freeways. Okay, so whenever you have a value out of the table, you just pick the value which is nearest one. Okay, but if it is in the table, then you can do interpolation. If it is in the table, you can do interpolation. So if the value was 61, then I can do interpolation. Okay, but since the value is out of the table, I'll just take the nearest value from the table. So capacity adjustment factor for a speed of 52.8 will be taken the same as 55 because 52.8 is out of the table. So capacity adjustment factor 0.94. This is speed adjustment factor, and this value is 0.96. So adjustment factor for speed is 0.96. Adjustment factor for capacity is 0.94. So this was the equation for combined adjustment factor. So you need to multiply all the adjustment factors together for capacity and speed. Now I only have for weather, so the others will become 1. The others will become 1. And similarly for speed, I only have factor for weather, and the others will become 1. Okay, so the final value of capacity adjustment factor is 0.94, which is for capacity, and for speed it is 0.96, which is for weather. Okay, I come here, see adjusted free flow speed FFS multiplied by SAF. Adjusted free flow speed FFS multiplied by speed adjustment factor. So FFS is 52.8 and SAF is 0.96. So 52.8 multiplied by 0.96. How much you get? $50.7, right? 50.7 miles per hour. Okay, 50.7. Now calculate breakpoint. Calculate breakpoint. So 1040 FFS adjusted 50.7. Capacity adjustment factor 0.94. Capacity adjustment factor 0.94. Okay, so calculate the breakpoint. Okay, so if FFS adjusted 50.7, CF 0.94, and you are doing the square. Okay, CF is square. (1742) passenger cars per hour per lane. Okay, 1742 passenger cars per hour per lane. Okay, now calculate adjusted capacity now, or 1859. I think 1859 is the right answer. 1859 I think is the right answer. Okay, so calculate adjusted speed, adjusted capacity as well. Okay, so the unadjusted value was 2228, and then you multiply with the adjustment factor. How much you get? (2094) passenger cars per hour per day. 2094 passenger cars per hour per day. Okay, now in the example, I already calculated the VP flow rate. I calculated the VP. Flow rate was 1641 passenger cars per hour per day. 1641 passenger cars per hour per day. If this flow rate is less than breakpoint, then your speed is equal to free flow speed. If this flow rate is less than the breakpoint, then speed is equal to free flow speed. Otherwise, I will calculate the speed using this equation. VP 1641, breakpoint 1859. VP is 1641 and breakpoint is 1859. VP is already calculated and breakpoint you have just given me 1859. Okay, so VP is less than VP is less than the breakpoint. VP is less than the breakpoint. So speed will be equal to adjusted free flow speed. Speed will be equal to adjusted free flow speed because my flow rate is less than the breakpoint. So speed will be equal to 50.7. Speed now will be equal to 50.7 because 50.7 is the new speed. So now I will calculate density. Okay, so density will be 1651, which is the flow rate upon speed, which is 50.7. Give me the density. (32.36) or 32.4. Okay, so if I come here, I have this table which tells me level of service according to density. See this, huh? Okay, so 32.4 is here. 32.4, right? 32.4 is here. So your level of service is D. Your level of service is D. Now if I come to the actual example, without the adjustment factor, the level of service was still D. Okay, but the density without adjustment factor was 31.1. So although your level of service is same, but the adjustment factor has increased the density. And increase in density means reduction in speed. Increase in density means reduction in speed. Okay, so although the level of service didn't change, but because of the bad weather, the speed has reduced. And this is not a rule that the adjustment factor will never affect the level of service. Adjustment factor can affect the level of service because the density is changing. So in some cases, the density may go from one range to the other range. If the density change, let's say from 31 to 37, then obviously the level of service will change. Okay, so this is not a rule that adjustment factor will never affect the level of service. The adjustment factor can affect the level of service, but in this example, at least you can see the level of service, although it's the same, but the density has increased and the speed has reduced. Okay. So this is the effect of the weather. This is the effect of the weather, that you see a reduction in speed on the same highway and the increase in density. Okay, now if you have questions, you can ask me, otherwise I'm going for the attendance. Okay, Dua Rabi, Amna Muhammad, Muhammad Usama, Amal Abdullah. Dua Rabi, Amna Muhammad, Muhammad Usama, Amal Abdullah. Okay, Amna, Aman, Amal Muhammad, Muhammad Usama. Amna, Sama, Amal. Muhammad Naman, Ali Muhammad, Hakima Ali, Zahra Saeed. Okay, Ali is here. Muhammad Naman, Hakima Ali, Zahra Saeed. Muhammad Naman, Hakima Ali, Zahra Saeed. Hakima and Zahra. Okay. Fawaz Adil, Abdullah Jaliluddin, Abdul Rahman Ibrahim, Nujul Salah. Fawaz Adil, Abdullah Jaliluddin, Abdul Rahman Ibrahim, Nujud Salah. Fawaz is here. Abdullah, Abdul Rahman, Nujud. Nadine is here. Okay, fine. Abdullah, Abdul Rahman, Nujud. Nujud is here. Zahra Riyad, Abu Bakr Ghani, Zainab Ali Ahmad, Lulwa Ibrahim. Zahra Riyad, Abu Bakr Ghani, Zainab Ali Ahmad, Lulwa Ibrahim. Zahra, Zainab, Abu Bakr, Lulwa. Okay, fine. Maryam Abdul Amir, Masht Bashar, Asil Hassan, Ali Mustafa. Maryam Abdul Amir, Masht Bashar, Asil Hassan, Ali Mustafa. Asil is here. Ali Mustafa, Hamad Khalid, Abdullah Husamuddin. Ali Mustafa, Hamad Khalid, Abdullah Husamuddin. And Latifa. Okay. Fatma Abdali, Zainab Abdali, Zainab Abdul Al, Ala Salman. Fatma Abdali, Zainab Abdali, Zainab Abdul Al, Ala Salman. Zainab and Ala. Fatma Abdali. Okay. Isra Abdul Kareem, Ali Abdul Razak. Okay, Elizabeth is here. Ali Makki. Isra Abdul Kareem, Ali Abdul Razak, Ali Makki. Isra, Ali Abdul Razak. Okay, people from section 1. People from section 1. Fatma, Abrar. Fatma, Abrar, Hajar, and who else? Sarah.
Dr. Al-Hana from section 1.
Okay. Al-Hanuf, okay. Sarah, okay. Who else? Dana Isa and Huda Hassan. Okay. And everybody, thank you. See you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.